Yes, everyone, another video here from the Tokyo Real Estate Man. And yeah, welcome to the video today. Some pretty serious stuff has been happening in Tokyo with the regulation of Airbnb. I thought I'd cover it. I really don't do Airbnb, so this hadn't really affected me per se, but there's a lot of stuff sort of happening here in the background. And I'm on this page, and this is basically talking this is Minpaku Joe. It's talking about the regulations that has happened here to Airbnb here in Tokyo. And for the most part, it's a patchwork, but at the same time, yeah, it's really the regulations from here. You'll see right there, Rokugatsu Juko Nichi, from the 15th of June. Yeah, it's really become very difficult for most operators, I think. And here you have the different wards. For example, I better put on my googly eyes here to make sure I read it correctly right here. Here in Chiyoda ward, okay, basically from Mondays to Fridays at noon, you see right there, noon, that's noon right there. You cannot operate. This is actually though only in like school zones. You cannot. So in Chiyoda ward, I'm not exactly sure. It's really tricky. But if you're close to a school or something, that's what it says right here, that you can't operate. Here in Chiyoda ward, okay, which and this is kunai zenchiki de, okay, which means everywhere in the ward. You cannot operate between Monday and Saturday at noon. Okay, so you could take bookings, for example, on Saturday from until Monday, but effectively during the weekdays in Chiyoda ward, you can't take any bookings. Okay, here is really complicated here in Minato ward. Okay, it's not saying that there's any restrictions, but you cannot. It's really interesting. From the 1st or like the 11th to during this busy period between March and April right here, you cannot take bookings and stuff like that. And then also in the summertime, I believe you cannot take bookings. Now it gets way more. We're getting into the more strict areas. This is Shinjuku ward, and Shinjuku between Monday and Fridays. Now you cannot take any bookings. Okay, so all the weekday business for any of the Minpaku or Ryokan. Now a lot of people might not know this, but like ryokans are traditional inns, right? And then over the last 5 years in Tokyo, what everyone did is they just took their house that was in this is as pertaining to the most important part, if your house is in a residential area. So and what happened the last 3 or 4 years, people bought a house in a residential area and then they went to a lawyer, and yeah, that's why this is on illegals. This has been a really good business for the sort of lawyers of Tokyo, and they took what was your residential house and they got you the ryokan license, and then if you had the ryokan license, then you could operate as a hotel. But yeah, I mean, it was just originally it was just a house, right? And then people got the licensing for it and it became a hotel, and they would claim that they were a traditional inn. Yeah, from 2023. Anyhow, there just was a backlash of people sick of having the residential areas. This has been found whether that's in Vancouver, here in the building that I own in here. You can't do Airbnb in this building right there, because and the same sort of thing. And then originally, like it happened in the apartments of Tokyo, and then the people who gamed the system, or not gamed the system, it was just a loophole in the system, that the housing stock generally in the outer areas was starting to be used for Airbnb. And here in Shinjuku now, you cannot operate an Airbnb or ryokan, from what I understand, from ryokan that's in a residential area. If it's in a commercial area, then there's no restrictions. Okay, yeah, most of the stuff is, you just can't be, like, see here it says Jukyo yo Chiki yo. You cannot do it in these. This is the important thing, like in Shinjuku, in residential areas. Okay, in Bunkyoku, okay, you cannot operate from Monday to Thursday. So like they're allowing from Friday to Monday, you can still operate in Bunkyoku. Okay, in Taito ward, okay, entitled ward here, everything is a little bit different, okay? But from Monday to Saturday, there's like it says Minpaku Seigen, okay? And that's going to be in residential areas. Now, when you're coming into the really expensive areas of Tokyo, right here, this is going to it gets really, really strict, okay? Shinagawa has got some pretty expensive areas, right? But we'll come here to Meguro, and I own a few units in Meguro, and there's going to be no future of short-term rentals there at all. And it says here, Ku Chiki Zen Chikude, okay? From Monday to Friday, there's Minpaku is Kinchi. Forget it. You can't do it, okay? And then Ota Ward, I'm not going to get into it all. Let's go here to Setagaya Ward right here. From Monday to Saturday, and this is in residential areas. It's been totally restricted. Here in Shibuya, it seemed like in Shibuya, there is some, there's less sort of restrictions here, unless you're in a school area or in a residential area. But if you're in a commercial area, Shibuya, it seems there are some, although I have to look into you have to mark off the calendar. But I mean, basically they've marked all these sort of busy areas of the year. You're not allowed to do it anymore. So yeah, these politicians, they did their homework on this one. Here, Nakano Ward right here, from Monday to Friday, no bookings, but you can still take a booking, I guess, from Saturday to Monday. Now, I did come over here to ChatGPT, okay, and I did a thing. Are ryokan hotels in residential areas of Tokyo now banned from weekday bookings for the most part? Because we know that it's sort of a patchwork. You're asking, are ryokan or Minpaku Tokyo residential areas now effectively banned? And the short answer is yes. In many wards designated as residential areas, short-term rental lodging, including licensed Minpaku or ryokan, are restricted to weekends. And it could be, depending where you are. In Nakano, we saw that you could take a booking from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and to Monday. So they could still operate 3 days a week in Nakano. But for example, in Meguro, I think Friday was allowed as well. But you couldn't take a booking from, if you're licensed, okay, in a residential area. Well, I guess Setagaya, you can only take a booking Saturday and Sunday, for example. So 2 days a week. So this is just the way it's kind of went down. What did I do here? Example. Oh, here are all the examples of all the wards. Did I confirm another question here on the bottom? I don't know everything about it, and certainly I'm not a lawyer. I guess we could look at the summary. Yes, there are explicit ward level bans or restrictions on weekday stays for lodgings operating in residential areas. So like I said, over the last 3 years, the people that had just what was normally a traditional house, and then they transitioned it to these sort of ryokan listings, and they put them up on Airbnb. I guess the people of the neighborhoods just got really pissed off, and then this has just been building, and the regulation has finally come. Many Tokyo wards, Nakano, Chuo, Shibuya, Shinjuku, Nerima, Bunkyo, enforce weekday holidays only rule in so yeah, so basically the people who set up in the residential areas are being restricted. Now we got to cover some more real estate listing stuff here. So here I am again on this is Shibuya Station. I'm just here in my home ward, okay? And we can look. When you get closer here to the station, you get what's known as Shogyo Chiki, okay? And things are zoned commercial now. If you have a ryokan or you have a Minpaku license in these sort of areas in here, then it seems like there's no restrictions. However, like it's getting really expensive in these sort of areas that are zoned commercial. Okay, now here is one listing, okay, of this building here, built in 1974. It's a 32-meter unit here on the third floor, and this is in Shibuya. You can see right there, Shibuya-ku Dogenzaka Ichome Shibuya Eki. So it's right near Shibuya Station, okay? This is a nothing special building. And I don't even think there's, if you look here, it's just basically a rectangle, okay, in a concrete building. Now, this 32-meter unit is going to go here, okay, for basically 550,000 Canadian dollars. So this commercial, I'm wondering right now, is this going to affect commercially zoned properties now? And then this has to be a two-step process here as well, because although this building is probably, I don't know, I looked on a listing and it didn't indicate it. This is probably zoned commercial because of its proximity, because all this area where it is zoned commercial, right? But you also, in order to get the minpaku, you still have to get permission from the other owners of the building. Will they give it to you? Okay, now another way to look at it, and we can just go through these pictures. You see, it's totally nothing special. It's totally nothing special, but you can see, like, one other sort of, I skipped over it, that this is going to be definitely a commercially zoned area right there. But still, can you get this like through the building? Do they want travelers coming in and out of the building? Likely not. Okay, and then the other thing to think about when we come back here, and the stuff that I'm looking here on this stuff is there's no houses in these commercial. Like, if you want to do what these people were doing the last 5 years and get a house, buy a house and get it through licensed as a Ryokan and stuff like that, there's no houses in these, for the most part, in these sort of commercial sort of areas. So I don't know, you have to do your homework if you want to get into the minpaku business here, or the Ryokan business now in Tokyo. It looks like it's been more heavily regulated from June 15th onward. I don't really do Airbnb. I just have regular rentals now. So obviously there's probably now been a crash or like a surplus of of more regular listings onto the Tokyo marketplace right now because of it. But I think a lot of these places in these Ryokan and stuff like that were done in the sort of houses of Tokyo. I don't really understand everything that's going on about it now, but I thought I'd just make a little video on it. You can see, let's push this other red one here to see if we're getting really near Shibuya Station. Yeah, that's a 43 meter unit here. Let's push it for 1.1 million Canadian dollars. Again, nothing special, but when you're getting into these commercially zoned areas, wow, the valuations are really going up. And it kind of, little note, I have a unit in this very area that's in a commercially zoned building, so I'm wondering if the valuation for that unit is going up as well. This is built here in 1979, pretty dated. Actually, at this Alliance Mansion, I have a unit in a building of, I think, the very same year, or it might be 1981, that is zone commercial in this area. So I'm wondering if the valuation, and it's very well near the very same size as this, so I'm wondering if the valuations on it, on my little greedy part of me, I'm wondering if the valuations on that one is going up. I think I did a video on this one, I did a short about this one video here, or this one building there in Dogonzaka. So that's a little update on the Ryokan, which is the traditional inn regulation in residential areas. That, again, though, in some ways, these weren't traditional inns. They were just houses, and then they got the lawyers to come in and make them inns, but they weren't traditionally inns for 400 or 500 years. And then the people of Tokyo, I mean, this happened between the first wave of Airbnb that happened in Tokyo between 2015 and 2018. The residents screamed, and it got regulated, and they regulated in 2018, but they didn't close all the holes. And then the savvy operators, right, saw that there was still room to get the minpaku license, which is the Airbnb license, or the Ryokan license. The Ryokan license allowed you to operate 365 days a year. But again, what they did is they were just buying the residential stock and then getting the lawyers to get it passed. And I guess the people in these residential areas just basically got pissed, and they just brought an end to it. Anyway, the video here from, you have to go out there into the I'm not a lawyer, okay? You have to come and investigate this yourself. But other things that interesting things to talk about is these commercially zoned areas near these stations in like Shibuya are just, look at this one here, this 1.1 million. Yeah, I'm just trying to make this video short. 33 meter unit, 2013 though, yeah, for $1.1 million Canadian right now. So this stuff is really jumping up. The stuff that's really near these big stations and commercially zoned areas, and you can see right there, that's a commercially zoned building right there. Anyway, another video here from the Tokyo Real Estate Man. You're looking for real estate in Tokyo and you need someone to represent you. You can always come here to my website, Instagram, Tokyo Real Estate Man website, and I do have a website of the very same name, and that is Tokyo Real Estate Man website if it ever comes up. And if you hit this function that says contact box, it'll bring you down here. You can contact me either through a quick email or through a just putting all your contact information. Now, I haven't filtered all this through my mind right now, but this is changing, I think, the way I'm thinking about Tokyo listings. In some ways, I'm thinking that if you really want to get, if you can't be a really huge, effective cash flow investor like these people who set up in these residential areas, then you might, what's the potential upside of doing what they did? Because a lot of the houses that they built were built in places where you can't rebuild and there was no parking and stuff like that. What is the really upside of investing in that if you're not gonna be living in those units, since you can't make the cash flow from them anymore? And then is that not gonna bring, are people then gonna become because for the past 2 or 3 or 4 years, the way to make money was cash flow in the far off areas. But now that this has all been restricted, are people now going to become location investors again? I don't know. That's kind of the thing that I'm thinking about in my head. Anyway, another video here from the Tokyo Real Estate Man, talking just about some updates in the regulation of the Ryokan and the Airbnb business in Tokyo. ありがとうございます。動画もう終わりです。